And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of the Inland Empire, right here in sunny Southern California, it's Robert Cardoza Live, where we talk about politics, money, and you. This is the intersection of business and politics. And now here's your host, Robert Cardoza. And welcome aboard. I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to the intersection of business and politics right here on Robert Cardoza Live, where I do an honest, unbiased analysis of the issues confronting you today that affect the decisions that you're going to make for both your personal and your business life. I come to you every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time on Spreaker Radio, Blog Talk Radio, MyCast Live Radio, and countless terrestrial stations worldwide. I also broadcast on Roar 1776 Radio and on Live 365 Radio every Friday afternoon from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, and YouTube, where you can listen to my shows 24/7. Go right to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com for archives of all my radio and television shows. You can also access my show live right from my website each day simply by clicking on that little icon labeled Listen Live. Email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com, and you can call into my show if you want to comment or just engage me in conversation about anything. You can call directly into the studio at 909-545-6516. Again, that number, 909-545-6516. Now, on today's show, we're going to discuss what's in the news, new legislation the IRS loses, and I'm going to answer your emails just like I always do. Today, my expert contributor is John Matthews in his Conservative Syndicate series. We always have a great time with John. My special guest is Sean Lefebvre. He's talking healthcare on his series Geared for Wellness, and John's got a special guest, Sarika Cernahouse. I can't wait to talk to Sarika. She's a lovely lady and really, really interesting, so we'll get into that just as quickly as we can. Now, I want you to know that at 4:02 p.m. Pacific Time, it is currently 79 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, you know what? Let's start the show off with the news. That's what we usually do, and we're not going to stop at it now. So let's go ahead and get it going. And hopes for a Greek deal rise as creditors open to debt relief. Greece finally met a deadline that counted on Thursday and made a series of proposals that its creditors needed by midnight to set off a mad rush toward a weekend deal to stave off a financial collapse of the nation. It raised hopes that Greece can get the rescue deal that it'll need to prevent a catastrophic exit from the euro after key creditors said that they were open to discussing how to ease the country's debt load, a long-time sticking point in their talks. After months of foot-dragging despite impending chaos, Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras sent the proposals to the country's international creditors late this evening, and the spokesman for Eurogroup President Jeroen Dijsselbloem tweeted that it was important for institutions to consider these in their assessment of the Greek situation. Finance officials from the European institutions and International Monetary Fund were to fine-comb through the proposals tomorrow before the 19 Eurozone finance ministers assess them on Saturday. In ideal circumstances, a summit of the European Union's 28 members would be available or able to approve them on Sunday. While creditors are now assessing whether Greece will offer the full range of economic measures that they've asked for, Donald Tusk, who chairs the European Union summits, indicated that European officials would make an effort to address Greece's key request for debt relief. The realistic proposal from Greece will have to be matched by an equally realistic proposal on debt sustainability from the creditors. Only then will we have a win-win situation. Well, time will tell. Sunday's the day. I don't see anybody getting ready to extend this any farther. So that's Sunday's going to be the day. And if it doesn't happen, then Greece will leave the European Union. How about this? Came in 48 minutes ago. South Carolina governor says the Confederate flag comes down on Friday. Saying South Carolina's history has forever changed, Governor Nikki Haley signed a bill today to relegate the Confederate flag to the state's relic room more than 50 years after the rebel banner began flying at the State House to protest the Civil Rights Movement. Compelled to act by the slaughter of 9 African Americans at the church Bible study, Governor Nikki Haley praised lawmakers for acknowledging that the long-celebrated symbol is too painful and divisive to keep promoting. The Confederate flag is coming off the grounds or the South Carolina State House. Haley said before signing the bill, "We will bring it down with dignity and we will make sure it is stored in its rightful place." Police then surrounded the rebel flag with barricades and rope to a siege of sorts that will end Friday after the banner is furled for the last time at a 10 a.m. ceremony. South Carolina's leaders first flew the battle flag over the State House dome in 1961 to mark the 100th anniversary of the Civil War. It remained there to represent official opposition to the Civil Rights Movement. Well, enough is enough. It's done now, and that's the way it ought to be. Think about it. Isn't it the right thing? Of course it is. Well, country music acts quietly to abandon the Confederate flag. Came in 25 minutes ago. The Confederate flag was once a familiar symbol in country music, representing the rural South and the renegade spirit of artists such as David Allan Coe and Hank Williams Jr. But the rebel banner that will be removed Friday from the grounds of the South Carolina Capitol has faded from stage and song, with many country artists quietly distancing themselves from the emblem that used to feature prominently in merchandise, lyrics, and concerts. You won't find it being used by young country acts today, partly because it doesn't mean the same thing to them, said Robert Orman, author and columnist for Music Row magazine, partly because some of them aren't Southern, and partly because if you want to appeal to a national audience, why would you do that? Many artists have adopted the American flag instead. Well, they should have done that a long time ago, don't you think? I think so. How about this? Jeb Bush and allies hit their mark and raise $114 million for their 2016 bid. Fulfilling ambitions to raise a historic amount of money in pursuit of the White House, Republican presidential candidate Jeb Bush and his allies took full advantage of the nation's evolving campaign finance laws to collect more than $114 million in the first 6 months of the year. No candidate for president has benefited from so much money so early in a campaign. While the total is sure to widely eclipse the fundraising hauls of Bush's 16 major competitors for the GOP nomination, the ambitious $100 million goal and Bush's success at reaching it on schedule has yet to scare any challenger from the race. You no longer run for president, I don't think. I think you buy it. Isn't that what it seems like? Well, Joint Chiefs nominee, Russia's biggest threat to the United States security. Well, Russia poses the world's greatest threat to U.S. national security. President Barack Obama's nominee to lead the military's Joint Chiefs of Staff declared today. The White House quickly distanced the president from that blunt assessment. Marine General Joseph Danford told senators at his confirmation hearing, "If you want to talk about a nation that could pose an existential threat to the United States, I'd have to point to Russia. And if you look at their behavior, it's nothing short of alarming." The four-star general said that there are other threats to the nation which must be addressed in concert. He pointed to China with its expanding military capability and presence in the Pacific, North Korea with its ballistic missile capability and Islamic State militants. You know what? We've got a lot of trouble. But let's not forget about it. We've got a whole world to deal with here. Now, we're going to go on a short commercial break. When we come back, I'm going to tell you all about the Pope denounces a throwaway culture of consumer society. Don't go away. We'll be right back. If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this. The Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Leinberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And we're going to talk news for a little bit longer, so let's get right with it. The Pope denounces the throwaway culture of consumer society. Pope Francis denounced the throwaway culture of today's society that discards anyone who is unproductive as he celebrated his first public mass in Bolivia today. One of the key days of his South American pilgrimage. It was to culminate with a summit of farmers, fishermen, and indigenous whose causes have long been championed by history. First American or Latin American Pope. The government declared a national holiday so workers and students could attend the Mass, which featured prayers of Guarani and Aymara, two of Bolivia's indigenous languages, and an altar carved from wood by artisans of the Chiquitano people. In a blending of the native and new, the famously unpretentious Pope changed into his vestments for the Mass in a nearby Burger King. Speaking to the crowd in South America's poorest country, Francis decried the prevailing mentality of the world economy where so many people are discarded today, the poor, the elderly, those who are unproductive. It is a mentality in which everything has a price, everything can be bought, everything is negotiable, he said. This way of thinking has room only for a select few, while it discards all those who are unproductive. It's a theme he was expected to expand on later in the day at the Summit of Popular Movements, a collection of non-governmental organizations representing street sellers, indigenous groups, mining cooperatives, and cartooneros who sift through garbage looking for recyclable goods. His keynote speech was expected to be one of the highlights of the trip. trip, outlining some of his core priorities about a church that cares most for the poor and marginalized. When Francis headlined the first such summit at the Vatican last October, he issued a remarkable off-the-cuff monologue on the injustice of unemployment, the scandal of poverty, and the obligation to care for the earth. This Pope is just quite a guy. I don't care who you are. You've got to admire this man. And 2 hours ago, Baltimore's next police chief faces a demoralized department. Baltimore's next police commissioner will have a daunting to-do list: quell a surge of murders, rebuild trust between officers and the public, win the confidence of a demoralized and alienated department, and keep the peace when the explosive Freddie Gray case comes to trial. It's the toughest job in the United States at the moment, said Eugene O'Donnell, a professor at the John Jay College of Criminal Justice in New York and a former New York City police officer. Commissioner Anthony Batts was fired by the mayor on Wednesday, less than 3 months after riots erupted over Gray's death from a spinal injury the 25-year-old black man suffered while being bounced around the back of a moving police van. 6 officers are awaiting trial in October on charges ranging all the way up to murder. You have a consequence of factors. You have an ongoing criminal case that's traumatic for everybody. You have the specter of riots for the police union and officers. They're alienated, and the concern is that the cops will be further alienated, O'Donnell said. You need a chief who can first and foremost drive everyone toward common ground. In dismissing Batts, Mayor Stephanie Rawlings Blake said his approach was too divisive and his presence too damaging. Well, you can say that again, Well, Vatican, a communist crucifix, sign of dialogue, not ideology. Let me tell you about it. Bolivian President Evo Morales' controversial gift of a communist crucifix to Pope Francis threatened to overshadow the Pope's visit to Bolivia today, with the Vatican and Bolivia both insisting that no offense was intended or taken. Morales gave Francis the crucifix carved into a hammer and sickle upon Francis's arrival in Bolivia yesterday, immediately raising eyebrows given Morales' past attacks on the church and his socialist bent. It turns out the crucifix was originally designed by a Jesuit activist, the Reverend Louis Espinal, who was assassinated in 1980 by suspected parliamentaries during the months that preceded a military coup. Francis, a fellow Jesuit, stopped his motorcade to pray at the site where Espinal's body had been dumped. The Vatican spokesman, the Reverend Federico Lombardi, said today the Pope had no idea that Espinal had designed the crucifix and was surprised to receive it, a reaction clearly visible in the footage of the encounter. Some reports suggested the Pope told Morales, "This isn't good." One of the Francis's friends sent a tweet quoting him as saying such. But Lombardi said it wasn't known what the Pope had actually said. Lombardi said Espinal had designed the crucifix as a symbol of dialogue and commitment to freedom and progress for Bolivia, not with the specific ideology in mind. Lombardi said he personally wasn't offended by it. Well, there we go. As a matter of fact, I don't think this Pope, except for inhumanity, is not offended by anything. He truly, acts the way he preaches. He walks the talk. Well, how about this? The United Nations announces Yemen humanitarian pause until the end of Ramadan. The United Nations today announced an unconditional humanitarian pause in Yemen's conflict starting at midnight local time tomorrow, with the goal of stopping the violence so that the desperately needed supplies can be delivered to more than 21 million people in the Arab world's poorest country. There's such problems all over the world, and it's just so very, very sad. You would think that if all of the religions really believed in peace and attaining peace, all the religions on this planet, then why is it they can't produce peace? I don't think I understand this. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But anyway, when we come back, we're going to deal with the IRS loses. The first case, a husband escapes tax on his wife's income from a scam. That's right. I'll tell you all about it right after these brief messages. Don't go away. Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Oh yeah, here we are. My favorite part of the show, the IRS loses. You know what? When I get to this part of the show, it just sends chills up and down my spine. I can't hardly stand it. I just love this part of the show. I hope you do too. So let me get right to it. The IRS loses. A husband escapes tax on a wife's income from a scam. Let me tell you about it. Jack Eller's wife was a cashier at an airport parking lot who joined other employees in a scam that stole from it, stealing $90,000 herself. Now, the money was not reported on the joint tax return that she filed with Jack, and eventually the scam was discovered. She was convicted, she and Jack divorced, and the IRS tried to collect tax from Jack on the unreported income. Now, he protested that he had not known anything about the scam, but the IRS said that he had known about the unreported income. So Jack went to the tax court for some justice, and this is what the judge actually said. Jack said that he didn't know about the income. His wife said that he had known about the income, but not about her scam. Jack's testimony was the more credible, so he escapes the tax. You just got to love this stuff, right? Let me give you another one. The IRS loses. A lawsuit settlement was not changed to evade tax. Let me tell you about it. David Jones owned a car dealership, sued its distributor, and received a large settlement for all claims. But soon afterward, the lawyers changed its terms to make it for his personal injuries, which was always the intent. Now, damages for personal injuries are tax-free, so Jones didn't report them as income, and later he filed for bankruptcy, but the IRS said that his taxes weren't dischargeable because the change in the settlement was made to evade taxes. He went to court. This is what the judge said. The IRS admitted that Joneses actually had suffered personal injuries, and he credibly testified that he believed the entire settlement was for them. So there was no attempt to evade tax. And the taxes? Dischargeable. Yep, you got it. That's the way it should be. Let me give you one more. The IRS loses. Can't force a change of courts. Joyce Rainier sued the IRS in the Court of Federal Claims for a refund of an employment tax assessment that she had paid. Now, in response, the IRS filed a case against her and her partner in district court to collect even more of the tax that it had assessed against them 8 years earlier. It asked to have the first case suspended, saying that the second was more efficient, since it covered both parties who could owe the tax. Now, possibly saving another court case, right? Now, Rainier wanted the second case suspended. This is what the judge said. If the IRS was concerned about efficiency, it could have filed its own case sometime within the prior 8 years before Rainier filed hers. The first case actually gets to continue. You know what? The IRS is just unreasonable in these cases. That's the way they always are. Well, do you ever want to be a fly on the wall when the IRS is doing things? Well, that's where we're at right now in this section that we call Inside the IRS. And let's just get right to it. This first case inside the IRS here is that how do IRS agents determine that you've not reported all of your income? You ever wonder about that? Well, get this. A common method that the IRS uses to simply add up all of your deposits in your bank and brokerage accounts during the year. The presumption is that all deposits represent income unless you can establish that the money came from a gift or a loan. Now, a revenue agent is also going to review credit card and bank loan statements to determine if payments made during the year to reduce the balance were made from sources other than your bank accounts. So here's the trap. The agent may want to visit your home to determine if there are new appliances or furniture and to take a look at your wardrobe. Was unreported cash used to purchase these items? Your safest bet? The IRS must obtain a search warrant, which never, ever, ever happens in a civil case. Don't give a revenue agent permission to tour your home unless there is a search warrant, and there won't be. Now, let me give you one more case. Tax-exempt organizations and politics. Yep. It's supposed to be a separation of church and state. It doesn't really exist. To enjoy the benefit of being a tax-exempt organization, for example, a religious institution or a school, an organization is prohibited from participating in or intervening in any political campaign on behalf of or in opposition to any candidate for public office. Now, in reality, tax-exempt organizations have been actively supporting or working against certain politicians. The IRS has been under pressure from Congress to do something about this abuse. However, guidance recently issued in a revenue ruling explains that voter education is permitted as long as it's not abused, and that's what we've got to really look at when we're talking about these cases. Now, do not go away, because when we come back, we're going to be with our own Sean Lefebvre in his Geared for Wellness Corner, and he's got a very, very special guest today, so don't go away. You don't want to miss this. I have a feeling it's going to be an expert on diet. We'll see. Don't go away. If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this. The Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:32 p.m. Pacific Time. It's currently 79 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, before we start our next segment, we've got a special announcement to make. We're very excited and proud here at Robert Cardoza Live to announce that our show's currently available live 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, on the following radio networks: Spreaker Radio, Blog Talk Radio, MyCast Live Radio, and countless terrestrial stations worldwide. In addition, our show can be heard live every Friday on the Roar 1776 and Live 365 radio networks from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time, and an archive show on Saturday mornings from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. Pacific Time. If you're up that early, I'll get you some sleeping pills, guys. You can also catch our show every Friday and Saturday on iHeartRadio and TiVo. If you've got a TiVo box, all of our shows are accessible on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, and YouTube. You can also download our shows free of charge right from the iTunes Store. We encourage you to follow us on all of these social networks. Currently, we're actively broadcasting in the following countries: the United States, Montenegro, Philippines, Canada, Greece, Germany, the United Kingdom, Australia, Italy, France, Thailand, and Brazil, with more countries coming soon. We're currently developing 2 Robert Cardoza Live apps that will allow you to download our show free of charge on iPhones and Android. This app will allow you to listen to any of our shows, either live or recorded 24/7 worldwide, right from your computer, your phone, your tablet, or your iPad. The easiest way to listen to our shows is to go to our website at robertcardozalive.com. Now, having said that, you know what? Our next segment is the Geared for Wellness Corner, and I happen to know that our Sean Lefebvre has a very, very special guest. And let me tell you a little bit about her. His special guest is it's just really, really special. It's Sarika Cernahouse, the renowned author of The Funky Kitchen, an expert in naturally living today. Sarika is a practitioner of Japanese-style acupuncture and moxibustion, whatever the heck that is. She'll tell us when we get her on here. She's also a practitioner of traditional Chinese medicine theory and herbal medicine. She's a Metabolic Balance USA coach, a fermentation specialist, a whole food nutrition and natural lifestyle consultant, and much, much more. But most important, she's my friend. Help me welcome Sarika Cernahouse and our own Sean Lefebvre. Let's get him in here properly.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you from his personal meditation lounge in Orange County, California, a professional dedicated to conquering many chronic conditions from autism to weight loss and everything in between. The nationally recognized wellness coach, consultant, and lecturer, Sean Lefebvre, in his Geared for Wellness Corner.
Hey, Sean and Sarika, welcome aboard. Good to have you guys here. I've been looking forward to this. Sarika, I owe you the biggest apology because I keep calling you to put you on the show, and you are so accommodating, and you say yes to me all the time, and then later on that day, I cancel out on you. So I am so tickled to death that you're here with us today.
I am so pleased to be here. And really, I think the timing was right. I know that this morning's letter that I sent out piqued your interest, and so I'm really glad it worked out. It's just perfect. Everything's always right.
Well, that's super. Listen, do we have a little munchkin on the other line? Oh, there he is. There he is.
So, yes,
Sorry.
we have a little munchkin on the other end. That's okay. I'm just enjoying the fact that I can just sit and listen today. It's kind of nice.
Well, you can't just sit and listen. We need to match your two brains. The only time I'm going to interrupt, which will probably be often, is when you guys start getting too doggone serious and too healthful.
Oh, dear.
We're in
We'll
trouble.
do our best.
You know, I was looking at your website today, Sarika, and boy, I got to tell you, yeah, that wasn't loud enough. Let me try this again. That's better, yeah. Yeah. You know, so, Sean, what are we going to talk about? Are we going to talk about good food, or are we going to talk about healthy food, or are we going to talk about good stuff or not good stuff, or what are we going to do here?
I don't even know if we're going to talk about food. We'll probably talk about food at some point, but you know, it's funny when you're in this industry. Every now and then, people come out with new products. They've got, whatever, a newer form of CoQ10 or a better vitamin C or whatever it is that they come out with. Like, okay, that's really nice. That's great. Cool. I'll tell my patients about it. But every now and then, and I know that this is going to sound like a sales pitch, and it's really not. Something comes out and you just go, oh man, this is so awesome, and you get really excited about it. Well, literally something just came out. And so when you were talking about Sarika, I said, oh my gosh, you got to have Sarika on to talk about this new product. And it's from a company that Sarika and I work with a lot, and they're called Systemic Formulas, and they do these amazing herbal blends and nutritional products and so on. But they came out with a product that just, it blows my mind, the stuff they come up with. But it's a new product. It's called a bacteriophage. And I'm going to have Sarika explain exactly what that is. But basically, a bacteriophage is a virus, and it's a type of virus that only attacks bacteria, and it only attacks specific types of bacteria. So what we can do with these bacteriophage is we can take those orally, and they will go in and literally wipe out the bad bacteria in our gut and have
so that's a good
zero
thing.
any other type of effect.
So that's a good thing.
Oh my God, it's awesome! It's so good. It's so exciting. It's like if someone told you, here's a magic pill that will help you lose weight, and there's zero side effects to it. It's like that kind of exciting. So, but it's an amazing product. But Sarika, I'm going to let you explain further. I kind of gave the basics in a nutshell. It's a virus that kills the bad bacteria, but maybe you can tell us a little bit more about really how that works and what the benefits to us. I mean, people don't care about the bacteria in their gut; they care about.
Well, you know what? We need to back up. We need to back up a little bit because now we know that there's something good out there, like bacteria that's going to eat all the bad stuff. But you went right by where the heck we get it, how we eat it, how we get through it. So, is Sarika going to tell us that?
Yeah, Sarika's going to tell us that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, what it is exactly what Sean said, is these things are called bacteriophages. And bacteriophages, when we look at the biosphere of the Earth, bacteriophage material is actually the most ubiquitous biological material on the Earth. And so what we're talking about here isn't anything new under the sun, but the difference is the harnessing of what this is and putting it to use for therapeutic value. And what these bacteriophages do is exactly as Sean said. They attack a specific strain of a given type of bacteria. So that could be Salmonella, that could be E. coli, that could be Campylobacter. It could be any number of different types of bacteria that the bacteriophage for a specific strain. So a lot of people may not understand that E. coli isn't E. coli isn't E. coli. There are different strains of E. coli. And so these bacteriophage, a given bacteriophage will go after a very specific strain of E. coli. For instance, again, they're bacteriophages for all the bacteria out there. And so, again, it's a matter of harnessing what these bacteriophages are so that we can use them in a therapeutic setting. And as Sean mentioned, one of the main suppliers for both of us, a company out of Utah called Systemic Formulas, has created 2 supplemental products, one for pathogenic Salmonella and another for E. coli. And in both of these instances, by taking a tincture that has this bacteriophage material in it, what you do is you're actually ingesting viral material. And as you do that, it is like a laser beam that goes after only those specific strains of bacteria that you're trying to annihilate, and then it leaves everything else in place. And when we're talking today about all of the different antibiotic mutations that are happening, where people are developing different presentations where no antibiotics are working for them, to know that we have a technology now that we can use that will allow for this laser beam focus on whatever the presentation may be is just a fantastic development. This is so wonderful. And the thing that I want to say about this is that this isn't, I mean, we're saying it's new, but actually bacteriophage material was really found around 1910, so a long time ago. And in the United States, it was really quickly recognized as a very good therapy against different types of, dysentery and gangrene and whatnot, and it was used in that capacity. And then around, and there was study and use of it, and then around the 1940s, that's when the advent of antibiotics came on the scene. And when that happened, the interest and use of the bacteriophage therapy is something that went by the wayside for the most part in the United States. However, in other parts of the world, and notably in Russia, and especially in Georgia, Russia, that is where the continued study, development, and use of bacteriophage therapy has continued to flourish. And so it's really wonderful that this was not completely let go, but in fact has been used for incredible therapeutic application in other parts of the world. And it's interesting if one were to go online and look, at bacteriophage therapy centers, clinics in Georgia, Russia. What one would find is you see these different websites for these clinics, and it's like a cosmopolitan experience. It's all these, you can just see these practitioners are from around the world, and they're coming together, and they are approaching these antibiotic-resistant strains of infection in a very novel way and having very good success. So it really is an amazing therapy, and we're so fortunate that here in the United States that we've got this therapy becoming available to us.
You there?
Yeah.
I am. That was a mouthful.
Listen, did you take a breath at least? I mean...
Robert, she's so dang smart. I'm like I said, I'm just glad I don't have to talk today because I know Sarika's there. I can just look at her. She's like
I thought I should have some interaction. Goodness.
Well, you know what, Sarika, when you're going to take a breath, you got to give us some kind of indication so that Sean can talk.
Sorry, guys. Ding, ding, your turn, Sean.
it's my turn. So to put it in Sean's terms, what she just said was we have a virus that's like RoboCop, and it only kills the bad stuff. You know, and it really, really is exciting to think, you know, that this stuff's been around since 1910. So it's about.
Hey, Sean, hang on. Hey, Sean, hang on a second. Hey, Sean, hang on a second. You said we have a virus. Did you? I didn't catch. Did you say RoboCops? I didn't understand what you said.
Yeah, RoboCop. Have you seen that movie RoboCop?
Okay, that's what I thought you said. I wasn't. It was. You know. I know that Sarika is just a lovely, lovely woman, but you got to pretend that you're not whispering in her ear and speak a little louder in that microphone.
Oh, you know what? I tell you what, just listening to her voice, it's so calming. I just sit here and I'm like in my Zen mode. I'm actually got my legs crossed and I'm meditating now while she talks, and so it does. It makes me quiet. Yeah. So,
you know, I do have to say one other thing about how awesome this therapy is, because what happens when we are using antibiotics is as they go into a site of infection, there's a dilution that starts to happen with them. And so say an antibiotic ointment is applied topically to a wound, and as it goes deeper and deeper into the wound, it's actually going to lose its potency as it goes down into it. The difference that happens with this bacteriophage therapy is phenomenal. What happens is it really does look like kind of a lunar landing when one of these little bacteriophage lands on the surface of its targeted bacteria. It lands on it, and then it injects into the bacteria its viral DNA. And that continues to fill up the bacteria until the bacteria explodes, and that lyses, and so it explodes. And after it explodes, it releases millions more of these bacteriophage out into circulation. And so we have the opposite of the effect of this dilution that happens with antibiotics. So as these go deeper into the site of infection, there's greater amounts to work with. And again, as they clear from the body and they have done what they're going to do on all the bacteria that are there, they're not affecting anything else. And so, we get this two very different presentations of treatment that are different than how we would go with antibiotic therapy, because, of course, one of the concerns with antibiotic therapy is, again, we talked about the mutation that can happen. There's a quorum sensing that happens among bacteria. And as there is a lesser dilution of the antibiotic substance against those bacteria trying to change a little bit. That doesn't happen with the bacteriophage therapy.
See, Robert, this is why I'm excited about this stuff. It's so like you just listen to her. I feel like I'm playing a video game. We go in, we explode, and all the little explosions just start eating more stuff, and it's really, really exciting. So, definitely new product, yes. Has it been around for a while? Sure. But I'm telling you, this is why I'm excited about it. But I know we're going on a break, and when we get back, what we're going to talk about is how does that benefit you as a person? Because this is cool stuff, Robert. It's exciting. This
is really cool. And, when we come back, I'd love to find out from you or Sarika if this is a modality that's adaptable to cancer. If we can laser pick what we're going to attack, boy, wouldn't that be magnificent for other diseases, including cancer? And we'll answer that question or not when we come back from these brief messages. Don't go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make the interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay a great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And we have a star with us on the show today. We have not only our own Sean LaFave, but we've got Sarika Cernahouse. And when we left to go on our commercial break so that we could pay some bills, I had just kind of leveled a question for Sarika and or Sean, whoever wants to answer this question, and that is, this is such an exciting new modality. Can it be adapted for the eradication of other diseases such as cancer?
Mm-hmm. And you know, Robert, that is such a good question. And what we have to think about in terms of a person having an infection and also having cancer, let's say they're presenting with both things. If a person has, a low-lying bacterial infection that their immune system is working against, and they've also got some cancer that their immune system is working against, if we can figure out a way to get in there and work with these bacteriophage material against that specific bacterial infection, then of course that's going to lighten the load on the immune system and allow the person to be able to behave more strongly in light of what they're dealing with the cancer presentation. So in that respect, I think that changing the environment of the person's terrain within their body and making them stronger because they're not having to focus on something else is a huge boon in that respect. As pertains to the cancer being directly handled by the bacteriophage, unless that cancer were arising from bacteria itself. And I'm not saying that in some instances it wouldn't be. I don't know. In that instance, then I would say that the bacteriophage therapy as a direct bullet against that, unless we know it's coming from a bacterial presentation, then I don't know that that would have much of an impact. Because these little guys are so darn targeted. And however, that being said, they could, who knows? I mean, through some genetic tinkering, it may be that they could almost be used as a Trojan horse against sites of cancer presentation. I'm sure that there's a lot of research that's going into something like that.
Yeah, that would be really, really exciting. You know, if Monsanto can do it, why can't we?
Oh, yeah. Well, and again, I think that going back to the concern of just like bettering your terrain, you know, for instance, one of the products we use is for E. coli. Well, E. coli is naturally occurring. It's something that it should be in the lower colon. It's something that that is just part of the human bacterial picture. But what happens in some people is that certain strains of E. coli, they become overgrown, and it really starts to take the whole bioterrain of that person's gut and pushes it too far in one direction. Well, if we're able to use a phage product against this overgrowth of E. coli, then this is a way that we can make their system stronger by helping to bring that imbalance back into a place of balance, and then let them right their own ship. And honestly, your question about the cancer is very much in that realm of thinking as well. So it's pretty neat stuff.
Well, I mean, if you got rid of E. coli and you got rid of all the infections and bacteria as a result of that, how many cancers are actually caused as a result of not getting rid of those substances in your body?
Well, that's exactly it, because, you know, there are people who really work from this acid-alkaline perspective in terms of how you want to maintain the pH of the body on balance. And, you know, the notion behind that is one that really kind of carries some weight, which is if we look at the pH on balance of the body and it's more of an acidic presentation, that lends itself more toward greater illness and creating pathological illnesses, things that are really deadly, like cancer potentially. And so if we are able to create a more alkaline environment because we're reducing the toxic load on the body from these, you know, latent, low-lying, under-the-radar bacterial presentations, then that just gives us back our vitality to get a leg up on the other things that we're always kind of bombarded with. Including, you know, the cruddy food that sometimes we eat and, you know, our environment. I mean, if we're more vital going into the daily onslaught, we're going to handle it better.
Wait a minute, Sarika. Sarika, wait a minute. You eat cruddy food?
No, I don't, but I've heard people do.
You know, because
I've read about that.
I keep telling everybody how
about you and other people.
I keep telling everybody how you and Sean are so intimidating because I eat anything that doesn't move before I put it in my mouth, and now to hear you say that you eat cruddy food is just such a disappointment.
No, I have to say I don't.
No,
I really don't. It's not worth it. I mean, you know, when you're
sure it is. Are you kidding me? You've never eaten in my house. Cruddy food is good.
You know, yeah, it's trouble.
So I have a question then about the kind of, you know, you talk about as opposed to, you know, we give you antibiotics to kill these bacteria, and of course the two problems along with that. One is the antibiotic kills not only the bacteria you want to kill, but it also kills a whole bunch of bacteria you don't want to kill. So that's one benefit of the microphage, is that it only kills what we want to kill. And then the other thing is, you said where antibiotics lose their efficacy as they burrow in, as they get in deeper, they become weaker, where the microphage becomes stronger as it starts killing more of the bacteria, which is, that to me right there alone is just, wow, super impressive. But what happens to the virus when it gets to the point where it's, say, eradicated that specific bacteria in your body? What happens to the virus? Does it just hang out waiting for more bacteria, or does it eventually just starve and die off?
Well, exactly. It just passes through the system. And so it's not that it's lingering in the system. It's going to pass through because exactly as soon as it doesn't have something attached to, it's not going to continue to propagate. And so if it is being used as a therapeutic concern, you have to take it regularly. And, as a supplement or, if one were to go to one of these clinics, it's not like you would just be taking one dose in all likelihood of something. So they do. They pass through the system, and then they go out and, they go back to being what they were in the first place, which is bacteriophage in the natural arena. And these are not constructed, in a lab. All it is titrating down in a given pool, if you will, from, lesser quantities in greater volume, titrating down, concentrating down until we just have that specific bacteriophage that we're able to work with. I mean, the human mouth is rich, saliva is rich in naturally occurring bacteriophages. So is seawater. In fact, we talk about these healing waters from around the world, like the River Ganges and whatnot. And these are waters where people would go and bathe in them to relieve themselves of different presentations like leprosy. Well, it's because those waters have been so rich in the bacteriophages that actually go in and kill off those bacteria. So it's just an amazing, wonderful therapy to be able to begin to harness what's already out there and work with it.
So the average person, walks in, they say, maybe they've got some, something going on with their gut, some dysbiosis or SIBO, they've got an overgrowth of bacteria, or they've got not enough of the good bacteria or whatever, or maybe it's just an average person who just wants to be healthy. When I start taking either one of the two products, and would I take them together, would I take them separate, how does that work? What can I expect? Like, how can I expect to feel differently? What does that look like to me as a person? I don't see my gut. I don't see the bacteria in there. And I don't even know what the word titrate means, but I mean, I do, but, so what does that look like to me as the average Joe out there? Right. The average Bob.
Yes, if someone were to start taking these products and they haven't shown through different lab work that they have an E. coli overgrowth, or they haven't been exposed as they know it to salmonella, but say they were to just use these and say there was a low-level small amount of either of the E. coli or the salmonella that was just kind of hampering their system a little bit, just a teensy bit. What would happen is they would feel a burst in energy as they are clearing that from their body. If they don't have those things in there, they're going to take those products and say, well, I didn't notice anything. And so it's really a great therapy because if it works, it really works if you need it. And if you don't need it, then it's not going to bother you at all. Like I say, it'll pass through your system and it goes back out to nature where it came from. So it can leave you feeling, a little perkier in your step or no difference at all. And, for instance, the salmonella phage, I think one of the good applications of that is actually it's sold with a squirt bottle, top to it. And if you know that you've been working with, cut chicken or even, a presentation I did on this related to salmonella, there have been so many recorded salmonella outbreaks in the last 10 years in the United States, and of all different kinds of food. And so you could use the spray bottle to spray, the surface of a cutting board, or to spray a knife after it's been washed, but before you put it back into the knife sheath. You could spray that after you've been cutting chicken or cantaloupe, or things that have a tendency on their surface to have salmonella.
So that gives you extra protection, Sarika?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it does. And then just kind of let it sit there for a few minutes, let the phage do what it needs to do if it's going to do anything, and then, you can put it away. so it's a good first line of defense safeguard against those really disruptive and sometimes even deadly pathogens that people come into. And one could say the same for the E. coli. I mean, we think about, E. coli outbreaks, they tend to come in hamburger and things like that. And it's places where the fecal matter from the animal have gotten into the meat itself, from the animal's hide, or, if there's a little bit of intestinal material that gets into the hamburger. And so in those instances, if you've had hamburgers and you kind of want to act as a safeguard, against what you've been doing there, you could take a dose of this. It could be something that could help to protect you possibly. And so those are ways of real application of, these types of products.
One of the things I was thinking about while we were talking about this during the first segment was, what about the international traveler? You go to these second world or third world countries, and they tell you don't drink the water, you got to be careful what you eat. Is this something that they could take and throw in their suitcase, and if they know they're going to maybe they're going to drink the water, can they take this stuff as a way to help prevent getting?
I tell you, my patients who go traveling, I set them up with a little kit, and now that these two products are available, these will be two of my suggestions for those kids, because it will only be a good idea. You're exactly.
Okay, so here's the deal. Here's the deal, guys. We're out of time, and not once have I heard Sean or you mention a website for the Funky Kitchen or anything.
Go for it, Sarika.
Okie dokie. Well, my main website is naturallylivingtoday.com, and if you go there, right on the landing page, I've got an article about this and a really cute little video that someone had made that really explains it very well. So, naturallylivingtoday.com.
Okay.
Go, Sean.
Sarika, thank you so much for being Sean's guest today. Sean, thank you so much for arranging for it.
Oh, you bet, Robert. Thanks, Sarika. It's always awesome having you. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, guys. Take good care, everybody.
All right, have a great rest of the week, and it was a terrific show, guys. Take care.
Bye, guys.
You too.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 5:08 p.m. Pacific time. It's currently 77 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, you know what? My good friend's waiting in the wings, so let's get him in here and not waste any more time. He's got lots of stuff to talk about.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you from the basement of his strategic planning room located at his political hideaway in Los Angeles County, the dedicated man who stands and serves the political conscience of our nation, Mr. John Matthews.
Hey, John, welcome aboard. Good to have you with us. You and I had a really nice conversation last night, and I'm looking forward to another superior conversation today.
Yeah, it was kind of fun, you know.
Oh,
They're all fun.
I thought, you know what? Fun. You know, you never know, John, what the heck is going to go on. I just thought it was just another show, and we were just doing our thing, right? And then later on in the evening, you gave me a call and just made my day.
Oh yeah, we're I don't know how to put it. We're just coming to that place where we're the show has really finding its niche, really finding its audience, and you just never know who's going to tune in sometime. And sometimes it's the negative side. Last night was nice. Everything was good comments. People liked it. The station, one of the stations we were on, offered us more time. I mean, you couldn't ask for much more than that. I mean, it makes all the slander kind of go away.
It's like Christmas in July when a station says, "Hey, can you guys keep going? We'll give you all the time you want."
Yeah. Well, some of the best Christmas songs were written in July. So,
oh yeah, that's an absolute fact. Boy, I'll tell you, lots of stuff going on in the news today. But you know what? Before we get started, John, give me your take on the Rance Priebus making a phone call to the Donald today, telling him, "Hey, back off! Don't do this. You're hurting the Republican Party." What do you think about what's going on there? If the PAC can't take it, there's got to be something wrong, right?
Well, I really have kind of mixed feelings about Donald Trump, and the only reason I really have mixed feelings is because I know how influential and effective the media is. If we had an objective media, this stuff going on with Trump would be laughable. I mean, it would just be, we got a guy out here who's, this is a modern day version of a Ross Perot. Yeah. Somebody just gets up and speaks his mind and's got the money to back it up, doesn't care, that kind of stuff. But when you're dealing with the establishment, I think what's happened here, for the most part, is, we have to address the establishment first because that's where the problems are coming from. We're not really getting a whole lot from the Democrats per se, outside of the fact that they're using some of the things that Trump is talking about to distance themselves from decisions they've made in the past, like sanctuary cities. All of a sudden, no Democrats want any sanctuary cities when, in fact, they're the ones who created them.
Yes.
But it's kind of like nobody wants anything to do with the Confederate flag, even though it was a Democrat who first raised the flag over the Capitol building down south. So, but the idea here with the establishment is that one thing we've learned, or I've learned about the Republican Party, is one, they really don't want to take on super hot issues. They want to see what their strategy is to hope that the other side implodes. We'll just remain kind of neutral and silent, and we'll just, when we're forced to say something, we'll recite or regurgitate a talking point, but we really don't want to commit to anything. And Trump is forcing them to do that. And so what's happening is the establishment is not being able to handle these things on their terms, the way they want. That's why you have people like Reince Priebus out there, who I think is a bigger joke than Michael Steele was. You know, Michael Steele was a joke, but Priebus to me is you know, he's a Karl Rove mini-me, you know, that kind of thing. So it's like, that's what's upset with them. They don't want to deal with immigration at this point in the game, and they're being forced to.
But would you agree, John, that regardless of whether I mean, I really don't care if you're a Republican, a Democrat, a Tea Party person, a Purple People leader. You know what? This country's got a lot of problems, and they need to be addressed. And if people are going to run for public office, they need to address those issues so that we, the public that votes for them, has an idea of where they want to go, what plan they have, what they believe in, and what they don't.
Well, that's the thing. The one thing that the left says about the right, which at this point I have to agree with, is that the right, the Republicans, I'm not, you know, the middle, let's call them the middle because that's what they are, the Republicans don't have a plan. Or if they have a plan, they don't want to pitch it right now. And so they're being painted into a corner where they have to say something that could later be used should they make it past the primary stage or during the actual primaries themselves. So that Trump has kind of rocked the boat there. People are having to talk before they want to, and that upsets them.
Yeah, you know, the other thing with Trump though, John, you know, while he's brash and he's kind of caustic and all of those things, and he's talking about he's not going to do this and he's going to do that and he's going to get them to pay for this and that and all that kind of stuff that he's talking about. He talks about all the things he's going to do, but he really doesn't talk about how he's going to do it.
Well, no, because this is, if people really knew what was going on there, and I'm just, you know, I mean, I'm kind of speculating in one regard, but I think Trump is just in this for giggles. I really do. I don't think he's really serious in terms of wanting to be president. I think what he's doing is he's trying to stir the pot. He's trying to do what he thinks he needs to do to get people to start talking about things that need to be talked about.
Well, I think you got a really valid point there, and the thing is that, you know, even if he didn't want to be president and he was doing this to stir the pot and get these doggone conservatives starting to talk about the issues that need to be talked about, the truth is Donald Trump loses nothing here. He's a PR maven. He's going to come out of this smelling like a rose. He's getting all this free PR when he gets off of his stump. He'll be making 10 times what he lost from that half a dozen companies that he were talking about.
Well, that's what I was saying the other night on my show. Is anything he's losing right now, he'll make back tenfold later down the line. And, you know, so this is not a big deal for him. I like the fact that he's bringing this stuff up. I like the fact that he's painting moderates into the corners. The conservatives have a view and have an opinion. Unfortunately, there's too few of them. But the point being is that he's doing something on his terms, and that's the one thing the Republicans don't like. I mean, we saw that with Boehner. Every time there's a part of the party that says, no, we're not going to go along with you, what you do, he punishes them. You know, they want everything on their terms, and Trump has just rocked that boat. That's what they're upset about. All these men have said basically the same thing. They just didn't want to say it right now, and they didn't want to say it as forwardly or as brashly as Trump wants to say it. But the American public wants it said that way. And that's what's really bothering the Republicans, is because they think, oh my God, this is gonna hurt us. We're gonna lose the Latino vote. We're gonna lose the gay vote. Well, you don't have those votes anyways. You'll never have those votes. What are you worried about? You know, what you should be worried about is getting the conservatives that have been sitting home for the last 20 years to get riled up and say, hey, yeah, I'm going to go vote this time.
Yeah,
that's what Trump is doing, and I think that really irritates the Republicans. They can't do it because they're just afraid. So
consider this: what the heck is going to happen if Trump does make it to the White House? Is he going to resign right away because he can't afford that small a salary?
No, I think if he should make it to the White House, I think he'll turn to the middle. I think he'll be just like a Jeb Bush. He's got a record. You look at his record. Trump is not that conservative.
Yeah.
He's very liberal. I mean, he's donated to Hillary Clinton, for crying out loud. We're not talking about some staunch conservative. We're talking about somebody who has picked a couple of issues that really tick him off as a citizen and he's going out there and saying, hey, we need to do something about it. So I don't see him in any way, manner, or form as a conservative. He's just he's got a couple of issues that are hot buttons, and he knows how to use that. That's his game. That's his gig. So I don't think he's got as much chance to make it into the White House as Joe Biden
does. I agree with you. But did you see those polls this morning? Was it New Hampshire? He's ranking number 1 today.
I'm sorry?
Did you see the polls for New Hampshire today? He's ranking number 1.
Oh yeah, well, the thing that nobody's really talking about is Bernie Sanders is on the rise. That's surprising me more than anything else. Well, this guy's got more people showing up at his rallies than Hillary Clinton does. That
surprises me too. Unless what the interesting thing is, people are dismissing Bernie Sanders, saying, "Well, he can't win against Hillary." But you know what? He's the only guy that I see that's got thousands of people showing up at his campaign speeches.
Yeah. This guy's got 7,000 to 10,000 people showing up at a pop.
Yeah,
and he's not raising the megabucks that Hillary is, but $14 million in 3 months isn't bad.
No, I'll tell you what. But what he is raising is public opinion, and you know what? If the people that don't go and vote decide to go and vote, and they vote for Bernie, I think there's going to be a big shakeup in the Democratic primary.
Well, what you do is you look at the donors. You look at the top 10 donors for Hillary Clinton, and you'll find out they're all corporations. They're all the people that she demonizes. It's Wall Street supports Hillary Clinton. You look at the top 10 donors for Bernie Sanders, and they're all unions.
Yeah.
Every single one of them.
Oh, yeah.
And so you tell me where we're going here. The unions know that the Democrats will throw them under the bus in a New York minute if it advances that socialist agenda.
Absolutely. So hey, John, let's talk some more about this when we come back from this commercial message. We got to go pay a couple bills. We'll be right back with my good buddy John Matthews and his Conservative Syndicate right after these brief messages. Don't go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're talking to my good buddy John Matthews. John broadcasts his show every Monday through Wednesday from 5 to 7 p.m. Pacific time, and it's the Conservative Syndicate. You know what? If you haven't heard John's show, you really need to tune in to him. Go to his website at theconservativesyndicate.net. It's the easiest way to find him. I could spew off a number of stations, but we'd all forget. The easiest way is just go to theconservativesyndicate.net and just plug right in there. If he's live on the air, it'll come on live. Otherwise, you can listen to one of his archives. You know what? The one thing about John is he's a fair man, he's an objective man, and he tells it like it is. You know what? He lives, breathes, walks, talks what he believes, and that's what he's all about. You want to get a perspective that you can actually weigh the benefits from? That's it. Go to his station from 5 to 7 p.m. Monday through Wednesday at theconservativesyndicate.net. You'll be glad you did. Hey, John, you're on the air, buddy.
Okay. Well, where did we leave off?
We were talking about Donald Trump. Oh no, Bernie Sanders. We're talking about the surprise that Bernie Sanders could really afford the Democrats in the primary. I mean, this guy's got a heck of a following. People, the news puts him down, and because he's kind of, he's an old guy. And how many times has he actually run and gotten nowhere? But he's got a tremendous following and a broad base, not just the unions and the union members, but he's got a broad base of young people as well that are tired of listening to the gobbledygook that politicians have been feeding him for so many years.
Well, the liberals have, over the last few decades, done such a good job of indoctrinating the millennial generation that it may just come back and backfire on them. They've actually created, in some ways, a monster. They want to be able to, the liberals have their own establishment now, just like the Republicans do. The liberals like Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama and people like this who come out in the public arena and the public eye and, bash and criticize and demonize corporate America, but yet takes all of corporate America's money, just like the Republicans do. And, you got somebody like Bernie Sanders out there who panders to the unions, and the unions are much stronger politically, at least right now, than some of the other, even some of the corporations that are out there, because corporations can put money in, but there's really no face to that. You take a union, and there's faces there. There's people there that are saying, hey, you know what? These are people that their dues are going into the pot, and that pot's being distributed to a candidate that will protect them. Bernie Sanders is an avowed Democratic socialist. He doesn't hide it. He's a member. He's a registered member of the Democratic Socialist Party. He doesn't hide that. He serves on the board of the Democratic Socialist Party. He doesn't hide that either. He's out. He's proud of it. And he's out. He is a latter-day Norman Thomas. Norman Thomas ran on the communist ticket for several elections back during the Roosevelt era, and a very open communist, and came out and said, basically America will one day become socialist without knowing it because of liberalism. And so, there's some of this. This is something that could come back and bite the Democrats. Hillary is heavily damaged right now politically. And, things like Benghazi continue to go down the road it's going down. This thing with the foundation, there's more and more coming out about that, about how she was using her position in the State Department to advance her own personal wealth and everything else. These things, the email stuff is now, the emails are starting to come out, and they're finding out that there was some conversations going on regarding what was going on in Benghazi. There was communication about covering it up, There are all these things that could just, if they really explode, if the media chooses and says, hey, you know what, it'd be more fun to have a Bernie Sanders in the White House, let's go after Hillary, we could see a whole different ball game here. And it would be very much to the detriment of the United States, but I don't count this guy out this time around. He could do some heavy damage.
Yeah, I agree with you. You know, and the thing, but you know, in thinking of Bernie Sanders, you know what? He's got, the only thing is he's been in Congress a long, long time. If he were to get in, and I'm not saying he's got a chance to get in, maybe, and I don't know what I haven't. Anybody's crystal ball is as good as mine. He's probably got a chance, but I don't think a real big one. But the thing is if he did get in, he's got his own mindset. And I don't think Bernie Sanders is for sale the way a lot of these politicians are. He and Donald Trump, I think, would do what they want to do. Now, to the extent that either one of them would ever get elected, you know, to what extent would the obstructionist Congress get in their way and keep them from getting anything accomplished anyway?
Well, I think that if we look at the real negative that we have with Bernie Sanders outside of being an avowed democratic socialist, which in this day and age really isn't that much of a detriment anymore because most people can't even tell you what that is. But the idea that his age is going to be an issue. Should he start coming up closer? You know, if he gains another 20 points in the polls here, he's at 15% right now. He gets up around 30%, and they're going to start looking. You know, they're going to start doing damage. Because right now he's like grandpa. You leave him in the corner, and you pull his finger once in a while, and you let him have his fun. But if he starts really getting close, and the message really starts reverberating to the point where they feel endangered, then they're going to come after him, and it'll be his age. The guy is a day older than dirt, and the only good thing is it's going to be like. We saw this with McCain. What happens if he dies? I'll be honest with you at this point. I'm really more concerned about having people on the ticket like Julian Castro, who runs HUD right now. And this is the guy I think they really want. Is somebody like this. This is straight out of the Obama mold. They may have to wait another election cycle to bring this guy up, but.
Well, you know what? But yeah, you know what? Maybe not, because no one has actually mentioned it. But the truth is that let's just assume for a moment, and I think it's a pretty good assumption that Hillary is going to get the Democratic nomination. If she does, she's got to start looking at a running partner that can bring her all those minorities and all those southern states, and and a guy like Castro could do it. Oh,
Castro's the guy. I don't think there's any speculation there. If Hillary wins the nomination, he is the guy. I have no doubt about it in my mind. You see what's going on behind the scenes. Obama's now out here with his new racial integration housing program. And who's standing there next to him on the podium when he's announcing all this stuff? It's Castro. Yeah. So Castro's the guy. It's just a matter of when they decide to inject him into the system. If Hillary implodes and Bernie becomes too dangerous, you might see this guy pop out of nowhere, and they say, "Hey, this is our guy. This is our Obama 3.0, clean slate." They can paint him any way they want, and he's going to be to the Democrats what Lyndon Johnson was to John Kennedy. He's going to bring those states. He's going to bring in that Hispanic vote. He's going to counter a Marco Rubio or a Ted Cruz. So there's no doubt in my mind that Castro's the guy. It's just it's more like who's going to run for president.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
Yeah.
I've just been following this guy for too long, and he is the guy. He's the guy they're going to pick.
Yeah.
I would put money on that. So, but it's going to be interesting to see. Right now the Republicans are just all scrambling. It's in the big picture. It's really too early to say anything right now. I mean, we still have people out there that haven't declared. My guy has not declared. Scott Walker's not even declared yet. So, Trump's going to run his course. But
I just hope that he's around long enough to keep people stirred up.
So what's the reason,
that's the only...
John, what's the reason Scott Walker hasn't declared? There's a couple of two or three guys that haven't declared yet. And it's, because all these guys have already thrown their hats in the ring, is it because they think they've raised all the PAC money they can already run and raise, and so they might as well? Or is it because Scott Walker hasn't raised enough PAC money? Or why isn't he in the ring?
Well, I think what he's trying to do is trying to see, he's trying to feel things out. Like, how am I going to, I think he's still molding his campaign. I think some of it has to do with money. I think he's kind of, let's see what happens to the other guys out there, and let's build our campaign around that, his change. Because he is a bit of a fence walker in some cases.
Yeah.
And he has been caught a couple of times, flip-flopping on some things. So, I just like his managerial experience. I think he's a great manager. He took Wisconsin out of a deficit and put him into a surplus in less than 3 years. That's Reaganistic. That's something that a Ronald Reagan would do, and so that's why I like him. There's a couple of things he has said and done that I'm not real crazy about, but you're never going to get the perfect candidate. I'm looking for somebody now that can actually, he can fix the problems that we have and deal with the heat. And I think Walker fits both of those things, both of those qualifications. So I think it's a matter of just still trying to raise some PAC money, and really kind of gauging off of what's going on with everybody else out there. What can I do? How am I going to do this? How am I going to approach it? So he is a sitting governor. That might have something to do with it. Once he announces, then everybody's going to start attacking him about leaving his governor's post like they did Sarah Palin. So there's a little bit of damage. He's got to worry about that too. So we'll see what's going on. We'll see what happens. I don't think he'll declare. I think he'll declare here in the next month or so.
At some point, where does the competition, all these guys that are running, when do they open up their eyes and say, you know what, I'm splitting the boat here? The truth is, any one of these 20 guys or 20 some odd guys, any one of them could win the Republican nomination with just 17 points. Because there's so many of them. They're just pulling each other apart.
That's exciting, isn't it? I mean, I think some of them, you're going to see some of them fade out before that time comes, just because they're not going to pick up points, and they're not going to have the money. They're not going to have you're going to see campaign managers, dive under the table or something. I think by the time we get to the primary season, you'll probably have 14 or 15 there. But I think some of the other ones are just feeling the water. I'm really hoping Trump sticks around before the first rounds of the debates. I don't know if he'll make it that far. I really hope Carly Fiorina sticks around, just because she is Donald Trump with just a better choice of words.
Yeah, the thing about Carly is I'm thinking she's going to be really ticked off that she doesn't make this debate.
Well, that's her problem. If you're going to run, you got to be willing to face defeat. I like the fact that she is very articulate. She's not afraid of people, and she trumps the Hillary Clinton gender card. So those are things in my eyes in favor. The downside, she wasn't the best CEO around.
She wasn't.
Then again, it was Meg Whitman, but everybody thought she was great. So these people bring something to the mix that will force the establishment types like Bush and the Marco Rubios and the Lindsey Grahams to either stand up and stand for something or look like fools. And if we end up sitting back here, by this time next year, looking at a Jeb Bush Hillary Clinton runoff, I think it's all over.
Yeah.
I think it's just a matter of who's going to be the one there, when it goes down, who's going to be the one standing on the bow when the ship hits the bottom,
Yeah.
But a lot of stuff can happen in American politics. The American people are fickle, and things can shift overnight. I mean, look what happened with Obama.
John, that is the biggest understatement you have ever made. Say, listen, we've got about 40 seconds left before we got to go to a commercial break and lose you. Why don't you talk a little bit about your show?
Well, just go to our website, theconservativesyndicate.net. All of our stations that we're on, our blogs, our archives, everything is there. That's the easiest way to do it. As Bob said earlier, I could give you all the stations, but
it's easier just to go to a website and pick what you want. Or you can actually sometimes even hear, say, if we're live, you click on the website, we're on the air. Otherwise, you'll hear our latest show, so you can do that. Just go to the conservativesyndicate.net and pick us up and check us out. You know, we more than welcome your opinions, your views, your questions, whatever it is. You can get us through the conservativesyndicate.net.
As usual, John, you were fantastic, my friend. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of the week and a wonderful weekend.
All right. You take care, my friend. God bless.
All right. Take care.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. Well, you know what today is? Yep, July the 9th, and it's somebody's birthday. And you know what? This person, you all know him. He was born in 1947, a football player and actor who in 1995, well, Simpson was acquitted of the murder, highly publicized criminal trial. It's the birthday of O.J. Simpson. And here's a guy that everybody knows, born in 1956, an actor who won back-to-back Oscars for Best Actor in 1993 and 1994. Happy birthday, Mr. Tom Hanks. And then finally, in 1977, this person was born, a lead singer, guitarist, banjoist, and songwriter for the indie rock band Modest Mouse. You know what? Happy birthday to Isaac Brock. Well, today in history, what happened? Well, in 1922, Johnny Weissmuller swims the 100-meter lifestyle in 58.6 seconds, breaking the world swimming record and the minute barrier. He also played Tarzan, by the way. That's who Johnny Weissmuller was, but he's an Olympic gold medalist. And in 1958, Lituya Bay is hit by a mega tsunami. The wave was recorded at 524 meters high, making it the largest wave in history. And then finally, in 1991, South Africa is readmitted into the Olympic movement after 30 years of exclusion. Well, the quote for today comes from Al Batt, and Al says, "The secret of happiness is to make others believe that they're the cause of it." Yep. You know what? It's interesting. I closed my show with that thought. Didn't realize it came from him. I actually picked it up someplace else. And, Al, I'm glad you came up with it because I appreciate it. Well, now it's time for our secret teachings for your life. This is not a real long one today, but it's still all about a positive mental attitude. Just know that. And the secret teaching today comes from Charles Hannell, born in 1866, died in 1949. And he says, "The real secret of power is consciousness of power. That is the definition of a positive mental attitude." Well, time for our Harvard Business Tip of the day, and the management tip today is use mind mapping to spark new ideas. Like brainstorming, mind mapping helps teams come up with ideas quickly when starting from scratch. It lets people think associatively and visually to develop a constellation of interconnected ideas. Your team can generate more connections between ideas using mind mapping than by brainstorming or simply listing ideas. Start by writing a key word or concept relevant to the situation at hand in the center of a blank page or a whiteboard. Have your team free associate by adding words that relate to the original concept. Don't evaluate or judge any ideas. Even the most outlandish words or phrases can generate fresh thinking. Connect your ideas by drawing lines between them. Encourage your team to use colors to indicate action items, ideas, doubts, and other factors. You'll end up with a visual mind map, which is a messy web of related concepts. Have the team discuss it so everyone understands each other's viewpoints and what comes next. That is the way to have a really, really productive meeting. Well, time for those interesting but useless facts. I love this part of the show. You know I love this part of the show, and it's just absolutely fantastic. So let's get right to it. The first fact is, did you know that the original Ford vehicles had a Dodge engine in them? Yep. Now, those were competitors, Ford and Dodge. So think that one out. How about this one? Snakes are true carnivorous because they eat nothing but other animals. They do not eat any type of plant material. That's kind of interesting, huh? I suppose they eat a lot of hair and stuff like that. Anyway, did you know that fleas can jump 130 times higher than their own height? In human terms, this is equal to a 6-foot person jumping 780 feet into the air. Give that one some thought. And think about how advanced we are. Maybe mentally anyway, huh? Did you know that the center of the earth is almost 4,000 miles beneath our feet? Yeah, there's something. There's something. You know, IBM's motto is think. Apple later made their motto think different. That's good. Well, did you know a hedgehog's heart beats 190 times a minute on average and drops to only 20 beats per minute during hibernation? That is a huge drop. That's 10% of their average heart rate. Did you know that Tibetans drink tea made of salt and rancid yak butter? Ugh. I shiver just thinking about that. Did you know that you can walk from Boston to New York City in fewer than 1 million steps? Oh, I don't think I care to do that. How about this one? First 4 countries to have television. You know what they were? Well, in the right order. England, the United States, the USSR, and Brazil. We weren't even first. That hurts. How about this one? Beer has a bitter taste and slightly pungent aroma because of lapulin, a substance found in hops. If you care. If you like beer, you don't care. You just like beer, and you want it to be good. Did you know that 55.1% of all United States prisoners are in prison for drug offenses? Now, I wonder how many of those are just recreational drugs. Think about it. And the millions and millions of dollars that we spend in their incarceration. Did you know that according to the film's animators, you'll see 6,469,952 black spots every time you watch 101 Dalmatians. In Texas, it's illegal to drink milk another person's, in Texas, it's illegal to milk another person's cow. Illegal. How about this? Pound cake is so named not just because of the pound of butter, but more precisely because each of the four main ingredients, flour, butter, sugar, and eggs, are weighed out as a pound. Wow. That makes sense. You know, the numbers 172 can be found on the back of the United States $5 bill in the bushes at the base of the Lincoln Memorial. Take a look. It's there. 172. And then finally, in England, the Speaker of the House is not allowed to speak. Now, give that some thought while we go away to this commercial break. When we come back, I'm going to answer your emails. And the first email is from Kenneth San Juan from Omaha, Nebraska, asking about share basis. And I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages. Do not go away. We'll be right back.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 5:52 p.m. Pacific Time. It's currently 77 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, you know what? We're coming down to the wire. It's time for our emails, and I want to caution you that this is an entertainment section of the show, and we encourage you to always contact a licensed professional in your area before you actually make a decision and move forward. They're always going to save you more money than they cost you, and they'll give you peace of mind. Let you sleep at night because you don't have to worry about somebody tapping you on the shoulder or sending you a registered letter or calling you on the phone, because if these people make a mistake, they pay the piper. One of the conditions of their licensing is that they carry errors and omissions insurance, and so if they make a mistake, it costs them, not you. Keep that in mind. Well, let's get to our emails. Our first email today comes from Kenneth San Juan from Omaha, Nebraska. He's asking about a share basis, and he writes, I bought shares of stock in a company at different times and prices. Now, I need to sell some before year end. Can I pick particular shares to sell for best tax effect? If not, how do I figure the cost of those that I do sell when computing gain or loss? It's a great question, Kenneth. You know, the general rule is that the first shares bought are deemed to be the first sold for tax purposes, so gain will be figured on the cost of the shares that you've held the longest. However, it is possible to select specific shares for sale. To do this, you must identify to your broker the specific shares to be sold, and the broker must provide you with a written confirmation afterward that these shares were actually sold. Now, not all brokers are going to do this for you, so verify with your broker that he or she will do it. Now, if you need more information, go to IRS publication 550. That's investment income and expenses if you want to get more details. Now, my next email comes from Michaelas Tevis from Columbus, Ohio, asking about early retirement payments, and writes, is it true that one can take payments from an employer's retirement plan without penalty at age 55? Are there different rules here than for an IRA where a penalty applies before age 59 and a half? Well, Michaela, the answer to your question is yes. If you terminate your employment with a firm in the year that you turn age 55 or older and leave your retirement funds in its retirement plan, you can begin to receive distributions from the plan with no premature distribution penalty. Now, for IRAs, a premature distribution penalty generally applies if funds are withdrawn before age 59 and a half. So, if upon terminating employment with a firm at age 55 or later, you transfer funds from its retirement plan to an IRA, you'll have a delay in the time at which you can actually take penalty-free distribution. So, give that some thought and think about it and talk to that licensed professional like we told you. Next email comes from Gavin Thomas from Palos Verdes, California, asking about a 1099 he received for winnings. He says, I won electronic equipment in a sweepstakes and sold it. I received a 1099 from the sweepstakes saying the equipment was worth much more than I actually sold it for. Now, after paying the tax, I barely come out ahead. Is there anything that I can do with this? Well, you know what, Gavin? The value of a prize is taxable to you, and the sweepstakes was required to issue that 1099. But the amount on the 1099 is not proof of the prize's value. If you show that you could have bought it for a lower price or market price, it may be taxed at that lower price. You can't use the price that you sold the equipment for as its value because a resale typically brings a lower price than an original purchase. But Electronic equipment often is deeply discounted at retail, and if you can find an advertised price for the equipment in the papers or in the internet that's less than that $10.99 amount, you can report that value instead. Now, it's really important. Explain the difference on your return to avoid an audit. You're going to want to make sure you want to do that. Now, my last email today comes from Jonathan Torres. Jonathan is writing me from Brookline, Massachusetts, asking about extra alimony. He writes, "My wife and I are divorcing, but she wants to continue living in the same house with me. It's big enough for both of us to live separately until she gets a new one. If she does, may I deduct some of my home ownership costs as extra alimony?" Well, Jonathan, so sorry, but the answer to your question is no, and your deduction for the cash alimony you pay will be put at risk as well. The IRS does not allow an alimony deduction when former spouses live in the same household, and it considers spouses who continue to live in the same home that they formerly shared while married to be in the same household, even if they physically separate themselves from each other within it. Now, for more information on this, go to IRS publication 504. That's divorced or separated individuals. And you will be able to get all that information that you need at that point. Now, I want to thank you for listening to Robert Cardoza Live at the intersection of business and politics. Robert Cardoza Live broadcasts on Spreaker Radio, Blog Talk Radio, MyCast Live Radio, and countless terrestrial stations worldwide every single Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. I also broadcast on Roar 1776 Radio and Live 365 Radio every single Friday evening from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. And please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, and YouTube, where you can listen to all of my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com and email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com. That's where I get all the emails I deal with here on the show. On my next show, my expert contributor is David Garrett talking law, and my special guest is Dr. Stephen Tidwell with his continuing series, Tomorrow's Dentistry Today. I encourage you to tell all of your friends about my show here on the RLC Broadcasting Network.
That's our show for today. Beginning today, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by midnight. Extend them all the care, kindness, and understanding that you can muster. Your life will never be the same again. So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, then they seem improbable, and then when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. You know, the real secret of happiness is to make others believe that they're the cause of it. Robert Cardoza Live is brought to you by blogtalkradio.com every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, go out and make it a great day. Your host has been Robert Cardoza, the technical advisor, Matchstick Digital, and your executive producer, also Robert Cardoza.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed today's show as much as I enjoyed producing it for you. Don't forget to join me again tomorrow for another installment of Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We've got a great show lined up for you, and we know that you're going to enjoy it. In the meantime, I want you to stay safe. I want you to be happy and aware of what's going on around you. And you know what? Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. And you know what? Good night, everybody.